Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game! Alright, so at the moment I am trying to find Nolwenn. He is down here in the cellar, and we have to fight moles along the way. And oh boy, these moles gave me a lot of trouble on the first run. But I think I've come up with a relatively okay strategy for dealing with them. First things first, they are weak against ice, though not nearly as weak as those rock monsters. It basically causes 22 extra points of damage. So I'm not gonna worry about buying any ice element, I'm just gonna go with earth. They are not immune to earth. Along with that, I have decided to go with the explosive stone strategy. I'm going to confuse them. There's no guarantee that the giant mole will hit itself, but there's a pretty good chance that it will. At the very least, though it hits like a truck still, it's not going to use its rancid attack to poison or make me bleed. And once it does finally attack itself, it causes some good damage to itself. It took a couple more turns than I expected it to, but it got there. Oh, and that last hit reminds me, the Hunter's Necklace is really useful. Having that extra chance of a crit. It never actually says that it's a crit, but that extra damage is in fact a crit. Also, I am wearing Gobithia's amulet to resist the chance of being poisoned by the rancid attacks. Now, I still got hit pretty hard, so use a Kama Leaf real quick, and I'll mention my other possible strategy for dealing with these moles. First off, let me see if I can get a back attack against you. Good. This is the easiest one to get a back attack, so if you're going to get a back attack, definitely do it with this one. Because they hit like a truck. My other strategy, I picked up a couple bits of dirt. It's not a guarantee to blind them, but a pretty good chance of blinding them. So, with you blinded, I don't have to worry about being attacked. Well, I was about to say at all, but there is a small chance that they will still hit. But it's unlikely. So, the rest of this fight should go well. Even better if I can get another crit in. Oh, the earlier fight, after I confused it, I defended because attacking it will knock it out of its confusion. And I really wanted it to hit itself. Anyway, that fight went much better. Now, the real difficult fight is the one down here. Because this fight has two of the moles in it, and I couldn't even win this fight during the first run until I was at a much higher level. So ideally I sneak attack you, but no, that's kind of a tough window to get in there. So the strategy for this fight, well, first off, if I didn't have Unleash, I would have used a red berry before the fight to get me in Unleash status, but I got Unleash status. Yep, I'm gonna use an Unleash, because heck this fight. Nova to burn and blind you. And unfortunately, I only got the burn. Alright, well, wish me luck with this. Mana Blast. Good to see a crit on one of them. Well, this fight still sucks. For the record, that item there is a bandage. Wouldn't really help with the fight. So first things first, Give me an unleash. Because the unleash is definitely key to winning that fight, I feel like. And I just had a thought. So I want the hunter's necklace because extra crit rate, but I'm gonna swap out Gabithia's amulet for the Ring of Enlightenment, which will give me a magic attack plus buff. And I am using magic, so let's see how well this goes. Ah! Got the back attack. Good. Did I forget to use an imbue during that attempt? I might have forgot to use an imbue during that attempt. Okay. Nova. Okay. Got blind on one of them at least. And crit the other. So... I don't think I need to worry about confusing you. Alright, how much more does Mana Blast cause? Oh! Well, that went much better. I mean, the, crits helped for certain, but, get wrecked. Well, after that, attempt, I'm kind of curious, how well can I do if I didn't do an unleash? We got the back attack. We're gonna imbue for extra damage. I've got the thing equipped. We'll just use Mana Blast. Crit on the one on the right. Crit on the one on the left, I think? Maybe? Maybe not? Still managed to get a hit in, but we're done with the fight. So, I don't even need to make an unleash. I feel so much better now. This thing's definitely rough, but there are strategies to make them less painful. Okay, next up, I am with Gabithia. She wants to buy new armor, but can't afford it, so she wants us to go to the spider cave to collect spider webs to sell. Now, the obvious answer, if I want the best prize, is to just go along with it. Choose let's go. However, since I am saving up money, I'm kind of curious if I can just buy armor and equipment for her. Thanks, Lambda, but I can't let you do that. I have to earn it myself. Plus, I want to think of it as a training session. Alright, meet me at my training spot. Yeah, okay. So, just choose the first option. I don't know if choosing the second option will cost you a good reward, but, we'll choose the first option. Okay, well, I was hoping I could actually introduce where we are before that thing chased after me, but, we are in the spider cave, trying to rescue Gabithia because she's been captured by a spider. And I had a little bit of trouble with these things my first time through. I wasn't causing very much damage against them, and they were causing like 100 points of damage against me. Well, I made a simple mistake. I never imbued myself. So, without buying in freeze, probably best to go with in earth. In fact, in earth will reduce the damage that they deal against me. But if you do take the time to buy in freeze and spend your money, this probably is the ideal spell. Also, this cave gives a whole bunch of mana crystals, so Mana Blast is also a good thing to use. Yeah, that's some good damage, especially having that piece of equipment that buffs my magic. Offhand, I forget where it was that I acquired that. I'm sure it was some sort of reward for either fighting a rare beast or delivering a Heavenstone. But I am basically causing double damage thanks to that accessory. And also the ice damage is kind of okay. Now, if you were to not use the Mana Blast, you would just go with the pickaxe. And I was hoping to demonstrate that with a fight where I only had to fight one spider, but since there's two of them, heck that, I'm just gonna continue using Mana Blast. I got plenty of mana crystals. You'll just have to take my word for it. If there was only one of them, just use a pickaxe. Actually, you know what? Let's do that anyway. Just for demonstration. You're weaker. Let's take you out. Yeah, Mana Blast is definitely better. Although the pickaxe is fine when they're alone. And then we have the Rock Spider Queen. Now, I'm not going to show this fight again. It actually went pretty okay the first time I fought this, but I wanted to point out the song that plays during this fight. Because my first time through, I questioned what is the significance of this fight that it has different boss music. And there were other bosses that used this song as well. Some recent examples include the Giant Tomato, the Planet Boss, and the Viathon. And it wasn't until I was editing this playthrough that I finally made the connection. This song plays during optional boss fights. So, that's kind of interesting. Alright, well, here's a twist that I was not expecting. Dialogue that I did not get the first time round. So, Gobithia just consider this mission a success. And not only that, but you've been really supportive. I want you to have this family artifact as my thanks. Superior Pickaxe? Also an Emerald Clover. Okay, I got the Emerald Clover before, but not the Superior Pickaxe. You can mine ores faster with the Superior Pickaxe. Well, that could have been really useful my first time through. It's also stronger in combat. And then this sequence is going to be the same. So I'm honestly not sure what I did differently this time around. I chose the same options that I did the first time. Do I get this reward because I was supportive during her first quest? Because my first time around I was not as supportive during the first quest, and this time I was. So is my supportiveness being carried over then? I suppose that's entirely a possibility. That might also be the case with, Priscilla, with her message about us being like-minded. Superior Pickaxe. A pickaxe that not only mines faster, but can also be used in combat. Effective against rocks and armored enemies. Well, there's no rocks to go after anywhere around here that I haven't already grabbed, so couldn't tell you how much faster that is. But there is a rock enemy that I can go after just to the south. Actually, let's warp there. That is not the warp. But I will pet you while we're here. Actually, I had a better idea. We just saw how much damage we were causing against these things earlier. How much damage am I causing against these things with the Superior Pickaxe? Well, it's a little bit more damage at least. To be fair, these are some tougher enemies. Alright, at this point we are getting ready to fight Mount Olive. Oh yeah, that is a lot faster. So, Mount Olive. It seemed like it had some story significance, but it didn't really. It's just another random boss you fight like any other random bosses you fight during the journey. But boy is it memorable. So in case you were wondering, nah, even with the superior pickaxe we're not able to cause much damage. So probably best to just defend the whole fight. Scar is going to go down, but at the very least, imbuing Earth will ensure that we're not going to take too much damage. As said, I certainly cut it close. Linda, did you just kill a mountain? That makes you a living legend. You are the only Manafinder to have ever defeated a mountain. I even sound like a madman saying that out loud. I wonder if you would stand up against King Viker himself. Well, as a matter of fact, granted, I need to get quite the power boost. Alright, so my first run, I played along with the idea that I was this strong. And to be fair, yes, perhaps I could defeat Viker. But Zane helped me. Still, you stood up against a mountain. I don't know anyone who can claim has survived in combat against one. I don't know anybody who could claim to be in combat with a mountain to begin with. I believe in you, Linda. There's something about you that makes me feel hopeful again. So let's recover our mana stones. Alright, so not a bad thing to admit to having received help for that fight. Okay, so we are up against the Ash Sphere at the end of Ashen Steep. Einar has just been turned into ash, and this thing's also trying to turn us into ash. Thankfully, we are a bit more resistant to it. We need to defeat this thing in order to break the curse on Einar so he can turn back to normal. However, I'm sure I'm not the only one who is curious. What happens if we actually allowed this thing to turn us into ash? Is it instant death? Can we be revived from it? Scar is the one who's going to be hurt by it first on the next turn. Scar became ash. Can we revive him? Yeah, it's not permadeath. But I can't imagine it's very comfortable. In fact, it's actually kind of worse. You're super dead. After this fight, Einar will tell us that he experienced nothing while he was turned to ash. That is scary. So we're just going to let this play out and just reload my save and pretend this didn't happen. Okay, I am in Ilia's cauldron right now. Ilia is showing us these visions in order to see their side of the story, there being her and the nomads. And so far, all I'm seeing from these visions is that Octavius is against compassion. Don't mourn your dead brother, he was weak. Stop wishing for love, be a leader. I mean, heck, Octavius's influence has made it so that Einar's sister is willing to kill Einar without a second thought. Really, this scene here is the only one that puts Octavius in any sort of positive light, seeing importance in old age and wisdom. Regardless, Ilya may be jaded, and Azane may be delusional, but Octavius is just an all-around awful person. Easily the worst character in the game. Now, this question right here. So tell me, child, do you agree that one must first listen to their gut, their instinct, and not their mind? I was a little uncertain about an answer, so I remained silent my first run, and Ilya was all, you can't just not answer. So this time, I'm going to answer. Do I agree that one must first listen to their gut instinct and not the mind? No. The mind is important as well. So you'd rather abandon your natural instincts and let your mind take absolute control? Okay, see, this is the reason why I chose not to answer the first time, because there's no absolute. It's important to think about a situation, but sometimes, yeah, you do need to react on gut instinct real quick. So, there was no right answer to this. Thinking is fine, child. It is a tool for survival. Overthinking, on the other hand, is a poison. Too much thinking is the poison of civilized people. It fills them with dread. It constrains their sad lives. They stop listening to their own natural urges. And is this a bad thing? I mean, look at Octavius. Guy clearly has an urge to just kill everyone. Anyone that he thinks is weak. Later on, there's a flashback where it shows him killing his leader because his leader was injured. Again, there's that lack of compassion. He could help his leader get better, but nope, losing a fight means that his leader had to die. No chance for improvement. Kill or be killed. Ilya doesn't understand why people consider her a forsaken goddess, a demoness. But if people like Octavius are her champion, that is why. And it's funny, because in another scene, she talks about how family is important above all else. Yet she's okay with the concept of killing their own family, not mourning their deaths, as Octavius is preaching. And if Ilya isn't okay with all that, she needs to choose a different champion. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and reload just to change my answer there, because I want to see if something happens if I side with Ilya the whole time. If anything happens. As an aside, the way this dialogue was working, the way it was going, Savius overthinking, overanalyzing everything made him seem useless. But he wasn't really. Octavius saw that it being important, so I figured, well, that must mean that the mind is important. But apparently Ilya disagrees, actually. So what happens if I do say yes? That one must first listen to their gut. That is the natural way of life. It pleases me to know that you adhere to it. And then this dialogue again. They forget that they are living beasts as well. Oh, but they certainly love pretending that they are not. And I was hoping that she would go into further thoughts about that, because what is her meaning behind that? Does she want people to be beasts? Is she against people striving to be better than beasts? Or is it just more literal, hey, you might want to strive to be something better, but you're still beasts, just don't forget that? No, it probably has nothing to do with humbling. She just wants everyone to be like beasts. After all, Octavius is one of her champions. Gotta say, Chapter 2 is definitely the most thought-provoking chapter in the game, and it certainly shines a light on our villains, and not in a way that Ilya is hoping. Actually, it's worth mentioning that I am actually taking the time to watch these cutscenes again. Along with finally editing this playthrough, it's given me a chance to get another look at everything that has been happening, which allows me to give additional thoughts on what is going on. For that reason, I am definitely looking forward to making future Let's Plays as regular Let's Plays, recording them and editing them, because doing it live doesn't really give me the opportunity to stop and think about what's going on. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop and end this episode, and next time we'll get through the rest of the volcano and start up Chapter 3. Now, whether that'll be tomorrow, I'm not entirely sure. Each of these New Game Minus episodes takes some time to put together. I was trying to work on these ahead of time, but I have lost my lead. I'm finishing this episode the day before it goes up. So if I wind up missing a day along the way, that would be why. It's worth the effort, though.